Kaya patsumis ko bak sukapyo sta sukapyo nix ka nagpuka ka mana kita pio ka ako kita sa pizza mandik matapyo ka man si tama bispi man sipata pispa kasi pata pio pisfumbo kinanan ko may pata pisina kasi pata pio panikocht sinika gusto na tapyo stati sa katupindanan nakano napyo isi takso tayo sinos pinanan nakakapo takiwa kapo mahkawa ka kasi pata pio panakumakita pio bukaw ano to tapay na sa tupay kano apat sa buska kasi pata pio panikakit kanano mas topikak natuwa pikas ko na tapik mo kamu tapi ako nakikatupin nanan nakanamyan sa tapio Ani gusto na tapi got ko sinikaktak sa okta sinots pin no ko sinanix na vitamin nanix kamuk sinaks nanix nisto ko sinanix mo tapio ano kanay po spinan gusto ba tapio panikat na piusin kamutani It was very appropriate that we were guided by the spiritual advice of our elders, and today these are very important for the future, the benefits of the generations to come to better understand the purpose of the organizations and why they were so important towards the betterment of our communities and healings. And so today I'm going to talk about the Red Coat Society. A Red Coat Society, it might be very appropriate that the word fellowship, it's a union of friendship that come together. We're societies, it's a group of peoples supporting an institution. But this fellowship are a group of peoples that have a common interest that can benefit the community. So there were many good singers back in the 40s and before that, but we were banned from any type of celebration, ceremonies. The things that we were very accustomed to was told to, they were banned by the new policies that guided us under the new Indian Act. And so when this society came together, we had a community hall that was brought in from Fort McLeod, and it was structured in 1949. And that might be the first building we had to celebrate our Indian way of life. And so 1950, they started drumming. There was many good drummers, especially from they called it High Bush, Spikskui Tokimags, Apaskui, Binapoch. They all had different locations where peoples would come together in their homes and celebrate with the drums. They were very good singers. And so when that hall was structured, people started coming in. And they would bring the big drum. And it was very fortunate that we had one drum that everyone was entertained with. And they started at the same time, the celebrations started come together, the horse races. And eventually we had our first Indian Days. 1955, we had an Indian Days, race meet and Indian Days. The Red Coat Society, the drummers of that society were one of the I would say they were one of the main committees that made this possible. We didn't have as many drummers as we had, so mostly it would be the Red Coat Societies. And if we had a visitor drummers, they would come in and seat themselves in the center. So the celebration started, and I'm very fortunate that celebration, that Red Coat Society that I was part of, really was something of a great honor for me to talk about as hereditary leaders. The Honorable John Yellowhorn was in a drum group, and another very honorable member, Joe Crochew. These were members of the lifetime chieftainship. The advisors that regulated and guided the societies were also very prominent. Pat Bad Eagle was also a hereditary council. Charlie Crow Eagle. And we had one of the real prominent ceremonialists, Mrs. Buffalo. These were what that guided the celebrations, the formations of the Red Coat Society. And the names were discussed of what would be very appropriate. They talked about the Eagle drum group, and they talked about the sovereignty of two nations coming together to make a sacred peace, and so that we had a relationship with the commissioner that represented the royalties, the Queen. And so from those stories that they shared, the Red Coat Society was formed. And so that group of drummers were very highly skilled in their drumming. And I could name a few. There was Lawrence Bourne with a Tooth was the lead singer. We had Pete Crow Eagle. We had Richard Crochew, Jim Plain Eagle, John Yellowhorn. We had Sam Yellowface, Charlie Greer, Omer English, Pete Crow Eagle. Then we came in 1960, 59 were invited in. There was me and my friends, Davis Crow Eagle, Jimmy Wolftail, and Albert Prairie Chicken. Today, as I'm sitting here, we're the only two members that's still alive today. And one is Albert Prairie Chicken. He's currently in the extended care. So I'm the only active member today, 60 years that I was involved with the Red Coat Society. And one of the things that they had was they had their annual powwow. And the last powwow they had was April the 3rd, 1963. That was the big celebrations that took place, and that was the last time we had our annual celebration. 64 and 65, Lawrence passed away, and 66, everything just kind of stopped because alcohol was legalized. And for 20 years, there was really no gatherings of any kind. There was a lot of difficulties we had with alcohol. We had so many storms that caused this. But 1984, a group of young boys came into the office, and they were asked they're going to start the Red Coat Society. Leslie Plain Eagle, Jeff Crochew, Wally Wolftail, Harvey, George Weasel Bear, and the Redcoats came back. And so we had an understanding from the guidance of our elders at that time when we started, Billy Strikes with a Gun, Elsie Crochew. So we had an understanding of how we can structure the banner. And so we had a banner similar to the one we have here that shows the commissioner and our headsmen coming together with the things that they use to combat all the storms that they encounter in their different events that they have in life. And so the Red Coat Society today is very, very important to understand that that society, when they existed, started the celebrations of the Piikani nation, as it was called. And so Piikani and the Red Coat Society were one of the first to have an Indian Day celebration in a country called Canada. So the Red Coat Society that I was part of, and we were part of the celebrations of the Indian Committee, and they all consist of the same peoples: John Yellowhorn, Joe Crowshoe, Charlie Crow Eagle, Pat Plain Eagle, all those wise old peoples that guided us, started the celebration. So when we look at this structure, that was about peace and order, coming together in a sacred trust that we live together, that our ceremonies be strong, that our inherent values will always be protected. So that is something that we feel we're strongly connected to our treaty. And so they came up with the songs. The songs were all given: grand entry, flag songs, the carrying of the colors, the flags, and the official song. All was originated by the Red Coat Society, and they were transferred from the times that they had ceremonies like the sun dances. And this is the official Red Coat Society song that has been associated with for about 60 years. And I'm honored to relate that when we are transferring these, we are now giving you the rights in the future to tell the stories that these societies maintained their strengths because it guided us to the celebrations we have. Asko awatats to man nagmatapyuks sinabotokan apoxoyis. O ka kama dispom kaspomstaya ninna mikyapyo hamux kay itinapsia. O kvoksi estokimaxi. Iskanay to the pinskas sikimi. Paksikuano ku. O kaya muksoki. Amakso nokatsi asastu. Ikakata pia nitapitsua batskia. Sitä mokinnanya. Sitä sitä puhuat saamskas spinnan. Poksa puuk. Sitä pispinna. Teitse pissinani itan jamukse koukis sakkomautta kuukausiksi sitä pinässotuutspinna. Hän määrin sitä sotuutspinna. No kennosta vopiik. Samoin. Kenyan sabat bitsinitspä ken hei 60 years. Hän nakwata pitsitä aksemokinna. Ja mokenis kotsinsksuan. These are some of the histories that we should never lose in the generations to come. That these peoples came together as a fellowship, a union of friendship that brought something good to the community. And today we are influenced by the way they that they gathered, their gatherings, was something was very important to us today. We try to maintain that relationship with the peoples around us. So I thank you very much. God bless you.